What's up, dudes and dudettes of the internet? My name's Seth, and today we are going to be doing the Trove on the Xbox. And where's my PS4 controller? We're also doing it's the Megalithic patch, so it's the PS4 and the Xbox. Yeah, I know that was a weird intro, but for today's purposes, we're just hanging out on the Xbox just so that there's something in the background going on, and I mean, most of all, it's just gonna be chaos and just, I guess, a way of having you folks in the video. So, in any case, folks, sorry that this video is coming a little bit late today. There is a reason, though. Not only is the patch notes themselves extremely long, but I also came to the decision that today's video is going to focus more on specific features that I think are the most important ones that you would be interested in, rather than going through every single piece of the patch note, because otherwise we'll be here all day, and I know that you all have things to do, and so do I. However, even though I say that it's for my own benefit, it's not. It's actually going to take 10 times longer, because there's going to be lots of cuts in today's video as I kind of just read through the list myself and let you all know the parts that I think are actually worth talking about. Either way, the link will be in the description for the patch, so that you can end up reading everything yourself if you want to actually know like every single little detail. We're not giving away prizes today. Oh no, sir, we're giving away information, so I would still very much appreciate if you would like the video. Helps me out very, very much, and without further ado, let's get right to it. So, right at the top of the list, they already have, oh, never mind, they don't have clubs at all. That was because I scrolled down a little bit here. So they got the new class and the new biome. So the Dino Tamer is here for... He's here. Like, that's all there really is to it. The Dino Tamer is actually a really good character. Has really high DPS. You can end up using it very effectively for farming. However, the only thing that I would say to keep in mind is that when you use your ultimate as the Dino Tamer, you're going to go on to a mount, and then you can activate your ult again to turn that off, but in general, it's a little bit glitchy, and because of that, it means that your farming might be slowed down a little bit just because you won't be able to use your wings. You're pretty much stuck on the mount like the entire time, and then otherwise use chrono cubes and stuff like that. I've got tutorials in the description for all of that stuff, and if they're not in the description, just search them up on the channel. But there's going to be the new biomes as well. There's two of them, technically speaking. There's kind of a Jurassic swamp biome, which has a couple dungeons, not really that many as far as the variation is concerned. Some of them are very, very beautiful if you can end up generating them, but most of all, there is the canvas, the Jurassic jungle canvas, where it actually generates these huge trees that end up covering the whole top of the biome. So it's pretty cool, but in that it makes it very complicated for people to make dungeons for. So you'll see that the biome generates very, very strangely. However, one thing that you do want to keep in mind, and of course I have a tutorial talking about meteorite fragments in general, but meteorite fragments are going to be a new resource coming with that biome that you can end up farming on top of the canvas biome only. They're not going to end up being in the swampland. So for some reason they talk about a bunch of new enemy types. Yes, there's enemy types, and although these enemies are cool because they kind of attack differently than most enemies, for the most part, you'll get in range of their attack. They'll stand there and charge for a little bit, and if you're strong enough, they'll be dead before they even get their charge attack off. Also, more importantly, though, is the T-Rex. Ooh, he is beautiful. If you see one of them, you're gonna want to kill them, not only just because they're awesome, but because they are going to drop 2, if not 3 pieces of loot, and if you're in an elemental world or anywhere at that point, you're going to end up getting gem boxes as well. Dragons. So they've introduced all sorts of new dragons for console players. Again, I've got tutorials on all of these things already. So we're gonna kind of skip over the bulk of the content in regards to, you know, talking about each individual dragon and stuff like that. But there's a lot of them, dude. Like there's the dragons that you can farm. You know, that's where I put the megalithic farming dragon video. And then there's also just there's so many, dude. Like seriously, there's too many to cover in today's video. But anyways, there is also going to be this is important, that the Draco Lantern dragon and then Tysorian and Tenon Bomber. It's the event-specific holiday dragon. So like the Halloween one or the Christmas dragon and stuff like that. You can get those right now with the Dragon Effigy item, which is a pay-to-win item, but you're not going to be able to craft them because the crafting components are going to be specific to that time of the year and those months. So if you're a free-to-play player, you're just going to have to wait until Halloween rolls around, and then, you know, I'll have proper tutorials on how all of that stuff ends up working. I already do, but I like doing updated tutorials as things end up developing. So you can also craft a diamond dragon egg now at the Dragon Crucible using diamond dragonite. So if we can end up actually doing this, hopefully it doesn't end up crashing. Where is the leaderboard? No, seriously, where is the leaderboard? Oh, there it is, way up there. It's just got a really weird icon that doesn't have anything to do with the game. So on the leaderboard, there's going to be, where is it? Oh man, there's the power rank one, not mastery points, power rank. Okay, so it's really glitchy and weird, and not to mention just going at 2 frames a second is not going to work for me, but you can look at that, and then based on the amount of power rank that you have across all of your characters, you're going to end up getting a set amount of dragonite. So you can end up not only getting these fragments periodically, so that slowly over time you can end up crafting yourselves a diamond dragonite, but also there's going to be an item that is pretty much one of the rarest items in the game. I've never got one, even on the computer version of Trove. It's a diamond dragonite pouch. So that's going to be an extremely rare item, and it's tradable dragonite. It's going to give you a bunch of dragonite for each of the pouches that you end up actually opening up. So good luck with that one, and if you end up actually getting it as a drop, you're going to be raking in the money, because seriously, that's pretty much the only way that people can buy their way to getting themselves a diamond dragonite, because otherwise you're going to be like me, and then you're close to 800 in power gem boxes and you didn't get anything. Most of the cuts are in today's video is gonna come a little bit further along, because otherwise this is the biggest part of the information, right? So there's also going to be a bunch of other diamond dragon eggs that can now be deconstructed. I don't know why they keep calling it deconstructed, because the loot collector used to be called the deconstructor, but now it's called the loot collector. So I'm going to rephrase and say, now you can loot collect a bunch of different dragon eggs for dragon coins. So it's, you know, what you can end up doing is you'll go to the store, and then you go over to the dragons tab. And if you end up getting the qubits, for, like, so that you can end up buying any of these dragon eggs, it's going to give you 65 dragon coins for actually loot collecting it. That is about the same equivalent to buying 67 or 65 dragon coins for 5 a pop right here. So you know, you get a little bit more out of this. Overall, I think it's like 66.5 dragon coins if you buy it for 750 each, as opposed to a solid 65 if you just end up buying the dragon egg yourself. But again, it's like if you're going to end up doing that, you know, and trying to get your dragon coins up in bulk, then just go for the egg, because it's just 10 times faster than buying one at a time over and over like a freak, right? So they fixed an issue where power rank wasn't correctly being counted for dragons, and in general, you're going to see your power rank has been increased by an awful lot. Lesser gems are also going to be 30% stronger, so lots of you at the end game might already notice that your crit hit has boosted well over 100%, which means that you can actually sacrifice crit hit on some of your gems for crit damage. Maybe you just want more max health, or just in general, you can sacrifice crit hit a little bit more than we used to be able to. Login rewards. A new crafting bench will be added in July. The Radiant Dayspring. Now, before we get into that, I do want to say that for right now, there's going to be these daily loot boxes, which is kind of weird that these are just showing up now, and then they're going to be taken away for console players, because what these boxes do is they can actually give you some insane prizes. You can get like 1,000 pinatas and a bunch of chaos chests and stuff like that out of them. Of course, those are the rarest items that you can actually get out of the daily loot boxes. I've never gotten them, but those daily loot boxes are going to be retired for the new method, where you're going to log in and you're going to get a token, and then you're going to be able to spend that token on the Dayspring table when it actually gets into the game. Now, I'll explain all of that and go into the more detail about all of that stuff once it's actually been added, and then you can expect like a proper tutorial. Gems, lower value of gems, lower stat gem value, blah blah blah. The thing that I said 2 seconds ago, they're 30% stronger. Lesser stellar gems also now loot collect for 500 gem dust. So those of you that have been keeping up with my videos are going to be swimming, absolutely swimming in your gem dust, because anybody else that ended up loot collecting before this patch ended up hitting, you would only end up loot collecting the gems for about like 150 gem dust or something ridiculous. Now you get full 500. So gem dust is not nearly as much of a problem as it once was. Gem booster boxes now award a golden gem key instead of gem dust because of this change. Now this is awesome because every golden gem key, it's untradeable. You're going to be able to use on any of the gem boxes to get the rarest gem possible. So early gamers, save all of those gem boxes that you can, or the keys, I mean, that you can, until you end up getting the ones from U9, so that you can just get yourself tons and tons of stellar gems. Not only are you going to increase your chances of getting really good ones, but you're also going to be able to loot collect those for more dust. Now, just as a heads up, folks, for the future, if you ever end up getting any, like, stellar lesser gems that have, like, the full 3 stats, but maybe it's not something that you actually want, don't loot collect them, save them. Because in a couple months, they're going to be letting us re-roll the gems stats, right? So then any of those gems that are going to have all 3 stats is a potential perfect stat gem. So hang on to those. Then there's also going to be gem booster boxes now give slightly more of the same boosters at uncommon. Okay. Gems with a single stat will no longer be found in the world. Instead, gems will always have 2 or 3 stats because very, very rarely you can end up having 1 stat. It wasn't actually even supposed to be in the game. That was actually a bug that ended up happening. So it's nice that they ended up resolving it. Well, I mean, I guess it was kind of like something they didn't intend to do in the long scheme of things. Like they talked about fixing that a long time ago. There are now new recipes in the gem section of the Adventurer's Crafting Bench for Lapis Luck Bugs and 9th Lives. It's not really worth it to end up actually using that, but free-to-play players at least will have the option, maybe if you're only maining one specific character, but you're going to be able to craft lucky horseshoes from all of your clovers, and then you're going to be able to craft lapis luck bugs from all your horseshoes, and then 9th lives from all of your lapis luck bugs. Honestly, it is not worth it at all. It's a beginner's trap, especially the 9th life. It costs like a ton of lapis bugs. It is just not worth it at all. You know, maybe in some rare instances, or if you're complete pay to win, it would end up being worthwhile, but otherwise, I don't even go for that, dude. So increased amount of lapis luck bugs that come from daily chests, as well as gem booster boxes. The stinging curse gem now the stinging curse gem effect now works with the Fey Trickster because apparently it didn't. Mastery. So 3 new power rank and mastery sigil levels have been added. So you're going to see people walking around with a whole bunch of new sigils and emblems and stuff like that, just kind of hovering around their character's head. So there's also going to be, for power rank, the sigils now go up to 20,000, and then for mastery, it also goes up to 300. And they also, this was a while ago when they ended up actually adding this update. They also have prepared and added a whole bunch of other sigils that are in the game's code right now because people data mined it. And yeah, it's got us very curious for when they end up upping the total power rank to somewhere around 30,000 we're expecting. And mastery, we've already talked about how they're going to up that to 500 at some point. So they've also changed it so mastery has been doubled for some of the gliding mounts. So like Squeakers, the Never-Ending Necromancer, and stuff like that. Those are normally would give you 50 mastery. Now they're going to give you a full 100 because they actually are gliding, right? Also, the Dician, the Immortal Dragon, now grants 30 power rank and the following stats, but does not grant mastery. So it's going to give you 1,000 max health, 1 maximum energy, 1 energy regeneration, and 50 more magic find. Now, the only reason I'm pointing this out is this dragon normally was for content creators. It's not really for content creators, but it was difficult for anybody that wasn't a content creator because you would have to go to the Trine World's website and refer somebody, and then at 30 friend referrals, you would end up actually getting this dragon. So the only way that you can end up actually getting this dragon on console, to my knowledge, is by using the dragon effigy. So like legit, I don't even think you can craft it, come to think of it. So that means that this dragon is, you can only buy it. That's pretty crazy. I mean, the friend referral system does still work, so if you can get 30 different unique accounts to refer you, and then get up to, like, I think it's mastery 20 on each of their accounts, then you're going to end up getting the point. And then you can end up getting yourself that dragon. Otherwise, for anybody else that doesn't want to go through that or buy the dragon effigy, you're out 50 magic fine, dude. So you're not going to be able to max out. Leveling costumes now grant 35, leveled costumes now grant 35 mastery, and other costumes grant 70 mastery. Mastery is now awarded immediately when an XP coin is used, as opposed to way, way later. And they've also added tons of new costumes to the game. Most of them are going to be craftable at the Chaos Forge, but we'll get into that in a little bit here. So progression, they've also, this is a big one, they've smoothed out from normally you would grind up to the level 25 and then suddenly it would just be unattainable to get to level 30 outside of grinding on XP day and having patrons so that you would get bonus XP as well. But on top of all of that, there is the XP potions now. And the incline is, rather than going 25 and then spiking right up, it's actually just a nice steady incline all the way up to level 30. It's so much easier to get to level 30 because level 20 to 30, it's just been evened out a little bit. Overall, there is a total amount of XP lessened, but for the most part, it just kind of takes that top half and kind of just forces it down so that's a little bit more of a incline rather than just a mountain. Since Dragonfire Peaks and Jurassic Jungle are restricted to U4 and U5, they will no longer appear in biome challenges for dragon challenges and stuff. Invasions and world bosses also will not spawn in the first 2 worlds because they don't want people to end up getting attacked right off the hop, right? So Mastery Rank 20 is now required in order to use a trading post, trading community or club chess and the market. Oh, community or club chess. I always forget that the community chest exists because it sucks, but also because the community chest will actually delete items periodically. So don't use it, folks. If you're using it for storage, it's gonna delete everything eventually. That's actually got to do with how, like, people have found a way to actually duplicate items. Something to do with the community chest. I don't know, but they can't find a fix for it because they don't know how to do it, right? So starter classes are now limited to only the 8 most accessible ones. Class coins and other methods of acquiring classes work as well. Also, you can craft them all, right? I got a tutorial that just ended up going up recently talking about that. That's at the Chaos Crafter, so check that one out. The introductory of a quest chain will no longer require players to join a club or enter the Shadow Tower. So the quest chain that you end up getting at the beginning of the game, like the quest tutorial, it's not going to require you to join a club or enter a Shadow Tower, which is good because those were very, very confusing for starting players and in a lot of way kind of bottlenecked what you can end up doing. So classes. Damage from the Neon Ninja's empowered class gem ability should now stack correctly, because I know console players were dealing with that bug for quite some time, which also means that in Shadow Towers it'll have been fixed as well, because there was a bug where I think that was affecting console players, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, but where only one Neon Ninja would actually end up proccing damage off of his shuriken, and then any other Neon Ninja that would end up throwing a shuriken after an enemy has already been affected by the first guy wouldn't actually do any damage. So thank goodness that that is resolved in this version, if it was ever even a problem on console. So also the damage reduction of the Tomb Raider's ability Banshee Boon is now at 90% rather than 75%. Makes him a lot more tanky. Corrected a certain Revenant class gem's description to remove the incorrect statement of saying it doesn't taunt. So certain gems would end up actually generating and saying that they don't taunt for the class gem of the Revenant, even though it does still taunt. So really, really weird. Adjusted the cooldown sound for the Ice Sage's class gem power ability. Great. Which also incidentally means that people using flasks from, you know, in a club world, it shouldn't spam the entire world anymore. So we can actually have Elysian flasks around in the club world again. Updated the description for Beck and Banshee on the Tomb Raider gem. You just avoid the Tomb Raider class gem like the plague. It is absolutely useless. Updated the following abilities to not collide with NPCs. So the Boomeranger's Big Bomb and Mysterious Urn will now fly through enemies rather than blowing up right on them. I don't really like that change for the mysterious urn. I do like that for the bombs. The Shadow Hunter's snare trap as well is going to go through enemies, which makes him a lot more useful in Shadow Towers because you can potentially constantly stun proc and stun lock enemies. Stun lock is what I meant to say. And the Fey Trickster's glitter bomb, which is useless by the way, also ends up shooting through enemies. The reason why it's useless is because the amount of damage that you actually get off of the glitter bomb is not really worth doing the single target damage of 3 times attack, right? Revenant's Wraith passive ability once more applies 50% physical damage and 100% health regen while Wraith is on cooldown. I like how they say once more, because the reason that they ended up changing that is because in the PC version, when the Mantle of Power update came out, the Revenant was actually the strongest class in the entire game because all of his skills were actually, once upon a time, based on maximum health. So you could get him all these health gems and suddenly it was just like, people were destroying Daughter of the Moon with the Revenant all alone and stuff, and it was just crazy, right? So then they ended up changing all of that, and, well, now Revenant's kind of suffered for it, but now they've changed the, they changed his passive ability to be kind of like the old version of it. Ability cooldowns are now also reset to max when switching between classes. And also potions are going to be on cooldown when you end up switching classes as well. I don't think that this was much of a problem on the console version of Trove, but for PC, that was actually to prevent a lot of the people that were at the end game from using bots and macros to actually get themselves Daughter of the Moon time, because what they would end up doing is they would pretty much be like on one character, swap over to another for the Beamer emblem, swap back to another one, use a potion that would end up using the Gunslinger, and it was overly complicated. Honestly, I'm surprised people even figured that out for something like Trove. But Chaos Chests. So Chaos Chests and Gold Chaos Chests are now very rarely dropped from dungeon chests. They drop from enemies as well. Why do they say there are advantages to farming fast for these, but even more casual players will be able to earn them at a reasonable rate? Why does it say you can only get them from dungeon chests? I am pretty confident I've gotten them off of normal enemies. Oh, that's because boss enemies... No, that's weird. Boss enemies and T-Rexes and stuff like that, I am 100% sure that I've gotten Chaos Chests and Gold Chaos Chests from them. I guess as far as they're coded, it must count as a chest in the game. That's very, very strange. Unless I'm dead wrong about it and it's only from dungeon chests, in which case, Neon Ninja Rage speed build all the way. Represent. I don't know what this meant, like choo-choo, it's like a truck or something. Any Chaos Chests acquired following this patch will no longer be tradable. I let y'all know about this. I should have done a side video. I don't know why I didn't think about it. But all current Chaos Chests are going to be untradeable. Any of the ones that you got before the patch are still tradable, including all of the mounts that you end up getting out of those are going to be tradable. So any of the mounts that you got before this patch will remain tradable, but I'm pretty sure that they changed it so that even a tradable Chaos Chest is going to drop the new untradable mounts. I'd have to double check, but I can't double check actually, because it's already gone. So anyways, you can cash in and sell all your Chaos Chests now, or you can wait until way later and sell them for a lot more flux. Chaos Chest common and uncommon tables have been randomized, and the uncommon table now include Chaos Cores, which are an item that is required for the Chaotic Crafting table. The Chaos Crafting table, you can craft any previous Chaos Chest mounts, or wings, or any prize that you ended up missing or not getting out of the Chaos Chest, you can now craft out of that table. But then there's also going to be just the craftable classes and tons of costumes. Again, I've got videos on all of that stuff, right? So now it seems like we're getting into a bulk of information, but Chaos Chests, 1 week out of 4. So take 4 weeks. One of those weeks is always going to end up having a Mega Chaos Core as the rare drop. So for 3 weeks in a month, there's going to end up being a new mount or a new crazy item or something like that added to the game. But for every 4th week of the month, there's going to end up being the Chaos Mega Core, which is a separate loot box that only drops Chaos Cores. Okay, so hopefully that wasn't too confusing. Shadow Pinatas also now have a very rare chance of dropping out of Chaos Chests, which technically means that they're kind of very pay to win because, you can still grind them for free, so I guess a little bit of a gray area, right? But out of those pinatas, you can end up getting a mount, a new headpiece, and stuff like that for those pinata enthusiasts out there. Chest-specific collectibles gained from opening Chaos chests can no longer be traded. Yeah, what I already said, untradeable mounts and stuff like that. Added new Chaos Core crafting workbench to the Novice crafting table. So at the Novice crafting table, that's where you end up making the Chaos crafting bench, and it's really, really cheap, dude. At the Chaos crafting table, then they go through a huge list of saying every single costume. I don't know why they even put this effort into it. Maybe it's just to shout out all the people that ended up creating all these costumes, but we're just going to skip right on over that. I've got videos of all the costumes. So the marketplace has also been updated as well to remove Chaos Chest, Eyes of Cthulhu, and Glim from accepted currency. I know lots of people were asking me that in the stream that I did the other day. So they also increased the number of items on the marketplace drop downs. Okay, I don't know what that means. It's got a hashtag symbol as well. It doesn't say numbers. Since we're increasing how... Okay, so they say, since we're increasing how Flux is made, this is actually taken straight from an old update. So now that we actually have the third crafting inventory and can carry like billions of items, right? Because of that, you can actually sell things in the market for 25 million Flux now. So it's not limited to just being for 1 mil. So people can actually sell Gonda for stuff other than pentas and stuff, right? Or whatever they're selling it for on consoles, right? So in the collections menu, the marketplace button should now search for any of the items that appear in the marketplace. So for example, can we open this? Okay, so anyways, let's say that you go for the lunar dragon inside your collections tab and you don't have it. There will be a little button that you can click on, and then it'll just search for that specific item in the market. Now that said, it's actually going to be searching for the golden dragon egg in most cases. And in some regard, it's actually going to type out the item incorrectly. So it might say that there's 0 search results when the item might actually still be on the market. It just ended up searching wrong. So I just want to give you a heads up. Updated markets, the marketplace comparison. So now it can actually show values under 1. So if you sell like a bulk of Glim and it's technically less than 1 Flux each, it can now actually show that instead of just having a full page of everybody at 1. So the marketplace bug where no results appeared when an item type was set to blocks, building, crafting, decorations, or items. That's been fixed. They also fixed a bug that could allow creation of marketplace listings with larger than 9,999 quantity. So I don't think you can do that anymore. Fixed a very rare issue where the marketplace could get into a state where it took currency for listings but never handed over the purchased items. That was a big one. I remember seeing lots of people complaining about that one. So then we've also got the leaderboards, and contests now grant rewards to everyone who is tied. That's a very, very big one. It's nice that console players are getting that one right away because, ay caramba, dude. For PC, we had that for months. It was insane. There was people that were all tied for top mastery, but because, you know, because only the person that was at the top would be able to get the prize, it kind of just randomly cycled through, like, whose name was going to actually appear at the top. Sometimes it was alphabetical, and sometimes it was just random who was at the top. So at least console players didn't have to deal with that for a very long time. So the Mastery Contest now gives 300 pinatas to each person in the top 10 instead of 999. Most of all, this has got to do with server issues and lag rather than, you know, not wanting to give out the prizes, right? Class Power Rank Weeklies will now reward 50 Shadow Pinatas to anyone who is ranked 10 and above. Good luck. That'll end up happening a lot better when we get the gem stat rerolls. The previous reward of a single chaos coin for rank 1 has been removed. So now top 10 for power rank are going to end up getting those prizes, right? And if anybody's the exact same power rank, you're still going to be rank 10. It's just going to push somebody else lower on the list of numbers, right? So there's new weekly contests as well. You're going to have Infinium Mined, Glim Collected, Fish Caught, Weekly Battle Arenas won, and Loot Collected items and stuff like that. Those are just going to end up being weekly challenges that can show up, not necessarily right now. The Experience Earned Contest leaderboard now tracks only XP earned during that week, rather than experience over time. So if you want to end up getting those daily loot boxes, which maybe those are still going to end up showing up, or maybe they're going to swap those out for the new tokens in July. I'm not exactly sure. But either way, you're going to have to grind the XP per week rather than just being able to be lazy about it, right? So the store also sees a huge amount of updates. Weekly deals are now arrived. These are actually, some of them suck, some of them are fantastic. So every week, a fantastic deal on certain items will appear in the store. Each deal can be purchased only once per week, and when the deal returns to the store in the future, it can be purchased again. 2 new types of deals will appear in the store from time to time as well, offering extreme value. These flash deals are only last for 4 hours and occur every 4 days. So every 4 days, you're going to end up seeing this flash deal that's going to be super duper good. It's going to end up having like tons and tons of dragon coins and stuff like that. Who knows? But it's only going to last for 4 hours, and then you're going to have to wait another 4 days before you see another one. But they usually offer 5 times value deal on various consumable items for powering up. Power deals will also unlock as you power up and are 4 times value and appear for 6 hours. So they kind of explain that a little poorly. As your power rank increases, you're going to see another power deal as well start to show up, which is not going to be as good value, but it's going to last for 6 hours. Credit packs now offer Radiant Sovereigns, which can be redeemed for great rewards in the hub. I'm going to have to put a separate tutorial up, at least at some point, if I can remember to, because I know that lots of people always ask about the Radiant Sovereigns. So it's a pay-to-win item. You have to spend money for credits that are going to be going to your account exclusively, and then you're going to get these Radiant Sovereigns that you can go to the hub, interact with the new NPC, and you can get gold chaos chests, Titan treasures and stuff. Technically speaking, because you can buy Titan treasures with that, it means that you can pay to win Trove even as far as Flux is concerned, because the Titan treasures drop quite a bit of Flux, but honestly speaking, it's not worth it at all. Like, if you can, like, if you're trying to do this for Flux, just buy the credit pouches and sell those on the market, because they sell for a whole lot more than anything you can get out of the Titan treasures, right? So there's also going to be a new $30 credit pack added, offering 5,000 credits, 6 Radiant Sovereigns. There's also 3 new packs in the store that contain varying amounts of credit pouches. Yeah, so the credit pouches are going to contain 250 credits each, and they're tradable. That's the key. So if you are trying to buy credits exclusively for your own account, you're actually going to get a lot less for buying the credit pouches. So the value is in that they're tradable, not in that you're going to end up getting the same amount. So if you're pay to win for just credits, go and get yourself the credit and Radiant Sovereigns and stuff like that. So due to the addition of tradable credits, collectible store items that are purchased from now, man alive, the grammar on this. So they're going to unlock the item instantly. You're not going to be able to sell or trade any items out of the store anymore, because credits are tradable. So why would you need to actually buy a mount and sell it for a lower value, right? It just doesn't make sense. But then there's also going to be a couple items like tradable class coins, inventory expanders, and stuff like that are also obsolete, they say. So they've been retired from the store. I'm not exactly sure why. I don't know where you even get inventory expanders anymore. Oh, just because you could get the credits and then just buy more inventory space, right? Okay, that makes sense. Rip me. See, that's the thing. I've been playing this game for such a long time that a lot of these things are just like, don't make sense to me anymore, because I'm so used to them being around, right? And I don't understand the change sometimes. So there is now an option to purchase 33 greater dragon caches at once with a bonus diamond dragon pouch. That's the Diamond Dragonite pouch that I was talking about earlier. Starter classes now cost 250 credits instead of 5 zillion, and advanced classes now cost 750. But again, you can just buy them or craft them for free now. So harder phones have been reduced in price. Also, there's going to be golden keys which guarantee a rare item out of adventure chest. Those have been reduced by 500 credits as well. Honestly, just buy the mounts. They're a lot cheaper than actually buying the golden keys. It's just a waste. So the 10 packs of chaos chests in the store now gives you 11, and the 100 pack of chaos chests now gives you 110 and a gold chaos chest. So that one's kind of worth its value, but 11 instead of 10 is not really. I mean, an extra chaos chest is always good, right? So an untradeable 15-day patron pass is now available for 1250 credits, fewer than half of the credits that you would normally spend for a 30-day patron pass. except the 30-day patron pass was tradable, devs. So while the 15-day patron pass is not directly tradable, it can be purchased for the credits. And therein lies where it's a good solution. It is, because now you can technically buy the credits from the market and then you can end up buying your patron with that. Yes, it's technically a good solution, but the credit pouches are way, like, they're so much more expensive. It is not, like, it's not as worth it anymore. So free-to-play players are gonna have a much harder time trying to get their patron passes, is what I'm trying to say. So some store-bought items are now untradeable. Most of them are, but the old ones will retain their tradability. Greater Dragon caches, they're untradeable. Yep. Club megaphones, renamed tags, they're untradeable as well. And Heartophones, all of those are untradeable. The previous versions that they had a long time ago, those are still tradable. But honestly speaking, it's really weird that the Dragon caches are untradeable. Most of all, I think that's because of my salty video I ended up having, where I actually compared spending $1,000 on Dragon caches, and it was actually more profitable to sell the caches rather than sell the golden eggs, because the random generation was just so bad on them. So I guess this is their way of forcing us into doing, you know, buying them just so that we can consume the dragon egg. But I don't really understand how that ended up hurting anybody. So some items have been removed from the store. Costume mystery boxes, eyes and tentacles. Any older twinkling tomes, golden keys, golden gem keys now have the tradable title in their names. But you can actually loot collect any of those into being the untradable version so that you can actually use them. So you can trade them to other players, but they won't be able to use them unless they loot collect them, thus making them account bound. So store purchases of these 3 items will now grant untradable versions. Store visuals have also gotten a bit of a makeover. Spring pinatas are now in the store. Challenges and mini games. So new challenge maps have been added to the mini games. The kitchen racing map from myself, Kira Descent, and Fatal Legacy. Oh man, that takes me back. Also the fountain map, coin collection map, but from Zez, and the Stead parkour map from Steadums, which is an awesome map, by the way. These challenges are going to be the same as Dragon challenges. They're going to show up every hour, and then you're going to end up going to the hub. There's going to be a portal that's there that you enter, and then you either go through the racing challenge where you fly through rings. It's really, really laggy, going to be impossible for console players to end up completing it on the 15-second par that you normally have to do. But the coin collection challenge, it's so fun, dude. Like, seriously, it's an absolutely awesome thing that they've added to the game. And for those of you build enthusiasts, if you create a PvP biome, you can actually set up your own coin collection challenge. So I've got tutorials on all of that. Again, you know, if it's not in the description, just search up the channel for minigame tutorials and stuff like that. So anyways, they've also added the target destruction minigame items. So this is going to be a new minigame that's not officially added to the game right now. We can build them, but you're not going to see them in challenges. The reason why is because they have these targets that kind of float around and stuff like that. It could be a lot of fun, but they're well aware that the projectiles in the game are actually very laggy and very unresponsive. So they want to iron that out and kind of fix that before they end up actually adding those challenges and making them something fully fleshed out in the game. Now, hopefully, with that, we're going to see a fix to the Shadowhunter's ultimate ability, but honestly speaking, I think that's a whole other issue. So they added also a new minigame class block, which is going to allow you to force players to turn into any of the classes of your choice. There is also going to be a couple items that will make it so that you can use mounts in a challenge, or in a minigame, or, you know, use wings and stuff like that. They also, I think, work for PvP. I'm not exactly sure. I never tested that, but that's actually interesting. I'm going to try that out after this. So they also have French and German versions of selected languages. And there's a whole bunch of community-created content. New battle arenas have been added. Battle arena quick matches now grant class experience upon completion. These include the ones that are in Club Worlds as well. So technically, you can end up actually grinding up your character in PvP if you're playing it. So it's okay, but it doesn't really, you know, it's not really that much experience. It's not worth like a 3-star dungeon or anything like that. It's not as profitable. Quick matches and club matches also now award star bar points upon completing a round. So you're going to be able to get your qubit payout from filling, you know, your star bar in PvP. So class coins. The starter class coin is available to claim from the Trove store for free on new accounts. So even for myself personally, I think we've got that right here. And that's going to give you access to all of the starting classes, not the advanced ones, but the starting classes you're going to be able to get. No, go away. What the? Okay, we'll talk about this pack right here in a little bit. I do still got to do a proper video that's going to explain everything about the Expert Life pack, but we'll get into that in a bit. I do have a video that does show all of the amounts and items that you get out of the Extra Life pack, excluding the 2 new dragons that were added, but I'm going to do an updated video so that you don't have to search for it. That talks about all that stuff. If you want to see it right now, you can. So otherwise, the starting class coin has a new look to differentiate itself from the regular class coin. Mastery rank 5 and refer a friend class coins now only unlock starter classes. And due to the availability of classes through other game means, the class coin awarded at rank 25 mastery has been removed. Untradeable class coins now loot collect into 3 double experience potions, which is great because these potions are going to give you an hour's worth of 100% more XP. But even if you log out, that hour is still going to end up being consumed. So if you see a power out or anything like that end up happening, you're screwed. But then otherwise, they also have animal helmets. So the Omni unlockers, the Omni style stash unlockers, which unlock any you know, items that you haven't already unlocked, they're going to end up unlocking these animal helmets. They're actually going to be under the category of stashes. For any starting players, though, that don't have all of the recipes in the game, they're completely random whether you actually end up unlocking an animal mass. So they're very coveted and very rare. Unfortunately, they don't just let us, you know, make them or something like that, or just have them as a separate category, because it would be awesome. The animal mass are, like, they're beautiful. Seriously, they're so dank. So there is now a stash exclusive animal helmet styles in their own style category. Super style stashes unlock these randomly. Yeah, one of the devs, Twixler, made okay, they're just going into more detail about them than they need to. Talismans. So I'm gonna have another tutorial video that's gonna talk about this as well, because of the fact that I know that it's gonna be confusing to most players. But talismans are going to end up replacing, I'm just writing it down right now while I talk. Talismans are going to replace the pen blocks, the meounts, llamas, centaurs, any of those things that you would end up finding out in the world as a rare drop is now going to end up giving you a talisman instead. It's not going to change anything. It's just not as cool as finding a mount. You're still going to be able to use the talisman to either craft just the starting mount or any of the other ones. It pretty much is going to have the same functionality as getting like a pen block or something, but now you're actually going to have to craft the pen block out of a talisman, which is not as cool as finding a mount that would then... Yeah. So there's also going to be a whole bunch of new things as well. I don't know if these were on the console already, but there's going to be, you know, centaurs and llamas and griffin mounts and stuff like that. Were those on console? Again, let me know in the description. Honestly, I never bothered to check the Adventures crafting table for the life of me on the console version. But in any case, yeah, they're going to be very rare drops, and I do mean very rare drops. Even on the PC, Griffin talismans sell for like a zillion million. So griffins, yeah, they're saying right here that they're very rare talismans, so I guess those weren't on console. I guess centaurs would have been, but not griffins. Special effect blocks are also now added to the game. You can make them out of the Fun Factory, and what these are going to do is you'll have like a block where you walk over it and it has a water effect or a fire coming out of the sides and stuff like that. Generally speaking, if you want to troll your friends, and especially on Xbox or even on PS4, and you want to like drain frame rate, go ahead and set up an entire world with all those blocks. As far as inventive building is concerned, you can set them up under mag rails and they'll all trigger, but then you can also set them up at doorways and stuff like that. They're cool, but I haven't really seen them used very well in execution. Most people don't really like them. I think that they're pretty neat though. So items have been renamed. Who cares? A whole bunch of items have actually been renamed. Clubs. Zone restrictions now applied to existing zones when terraforming. So if you have a zone set to nobody, you're not going to be able to terraform it. And I'm noticing that a lot of these biomes are set to officer. Set them to nobody. Seriously, because that means you won't accidentally bomb stuff. So fixed for... I would do it now, but my keyboard's not plugged in. Fixed for a higher rank... fixed for higher ranks not being able to modify zones whose permissions had allowed lower rank club members to modify the zones. So I think what that means is you would set a zone to architect, and then an architect would actually be able to set the zone to restricted to nobody, and then the officer wouldn't be able to change it. That's all that I could figure. Restricted ranks that can terraform a club world are now officers and leaders only, so you're not gonna have people destroying everything. There's also a whole bunch of changes to the UI, but I am noticing how on time we are here today. So these are the parts where I'm gonna kind of start making some serious cuts and start skipping through. So first and foremost, you're going to be able to interact with items by being near them rather than looking straight at them from across the hall. You are still going to be able to interact with each of the things that you end up actually looking at, but generally speaking, this is a welcome change for console players, not necessarily for PC. Also, other players and NPCs will no longer block your interactions while they are standing between you and the object. So normally we would be able to look at this, and all of these people that are getting in my way would actually stop me from being able to interact with this table. The claims icon in the lower left corner of the screen, the little Christmas present that you can see, will now show up for new claims that you haven't seen, even if they were automatically claimed. So you can actually just go to your claims menu, and if there's something like this starter class coin right here, it's going to notify you about it, and kind of, well, it's a much better system because now you can actually just click on source and then it'll actually show you where it ended up showing up. The loot collector no longer accepts additional loot once the components collected section is full, because otherwise you could actually keep loot collecting things over getting all of the resources back from it. When you come out of your settings, it's going to prompt you to actually save anything that's been unsaved rather than, you know, just getting out of there with nothing. They've also added a collapse all / expand all button to the collections UI, so you can actually just kind of put everything condensed into a nice little box. You're also going to be able to sort your items by favorited. The welcome screen no longer displays your chaos factor. Instead, it's going to be in your chaos character sheet. Chaos factor, I have another tutorial on it, but for more chaos factor that you have on your account, you're going to get more daily chaos chests. Contest rewards in the claims menu will now actually show when they expire. If one person cancels out of the name change prompt, other players also contemplating a name change will no longer have their prompts disappear. That's a weird bug. It's a good thing that's been resolved, though. I forgot about that one because it's been such a long time on PC. Consuming dragon souls will now properly refer to the type of soul that's been consumed. The client also no longer gets stuck trying to find the next item in the action bar after removing the active item from the action bar while within build mode. However, what they haven't fixed is when you click the button to, you right click to delete something, and then it accidentally removes the item that's in your hotbar. This is funny. So pinata coins now correctly state they are an event currency that will disappear sometime in the future. That's cool, devs, but pinata coins have never been on the console version because they were an exclusive item on PC to celebrate console launching. They also removed a warning message when you would change auras on stellar weapons, which I find very strange unless they're talking about stellar weapons that are already bound to your account, because if you find them out in the world and it doesn't ask you if you're sure, that's kind of weird. In the collections menu, your tomes are now going to have a little sleeping icon, ZZZ, when they are no longer active and you've completed a dungeon, which incidentally, legendary tomes now complete after 25 dungeons instead of, was it 100 on console? Because at first it was 100, then they knocked it down to 50, and now they knocked it down to 25, the same as normal tomes. So fantastic change there. The trading post UI now automatically closes if another player cancels the trade, rather than just throwing you back into the trade system and just being all broken and stuff. Trophies have also been added to Trove, even before Steam achievements. Well, so I guess those are only on the PS4 then, right? Because achievements sure haven't been added. Nope, achievements are actually here. Well, that's interesting because Steam achievements aren't in the game at all on the PC as far as I know. That's awesome though. Maybe achievements were always there and trophies are the new one. Honestly, I'm not sure. I never really checked the UI of the Xbox or PS4. Shadow Towers will now be spawned in their owner's region, so European and North American. The other reason this is really good is it ends up kind of fixing a bunch of crash issues that were related to going through the Shadow Tower, because in a lot of cases, North American players would go into a Shadow Tower and it would warp them into a European tower, and that's why it would lag and break the game. So it's nice they resolved that one just by fixing the localization. The Omni recipe item now unlocks the white and black dice because Otherwise, they normally were an item a long time ago that were in the store. I don't know why they're acting like they ever existed on console. Rally Blade is now more likely to match you with adventuring players, ignoring ones that are away from their keyboard. Removed an exploit tied to the combat effect of the Candy Barb's class gem. So what you could actually do with that is you would hold your class gem ability down with the Candy Barb, which pulls all the enemies in. Then you could respawn, and then you had to do it one more time, and then you could actually have the pull effect even with not using the class gem ability. And in fact, you could even swap to another character and still have the pull effect. So a lot of us would end up actually doing that and then swapping to the Tomb Raiser because he's pretty much invincible. And then, well, you would pull all the enemies and it would just make Shadow Towers a breeze, right? Kills from spawned allies, including the Tomb Raiser, Pirate Captain, Draco, and stuff like that, will now start counting towards the defeated enemy stat tracking, because it didn't. Not that you ended up killing anything with your minions outside of the Pirate Captain and the Draco, because the Draco's bomb actually counts as a minion. They also added a cooldown for when you type /join me and invite somebody, so you can't just spam invite people. Most of all, they're trying to prevent, you know, people from getting spam invited and not being able to do anything, but it doesn't really happen that much on console anyway, so it's not that big a deal. Carpet mounts will now glide as well. Pinatas now correctly drop loot in the shores of the Everdark. I guess they didn't drop loot in there. That's kind of weird. Why would you want to open pinatas down there? Cooldown behavior for abilities when switching worlds will no longer reset to the max cooldown time. Sound effects have also returned for invaders and bombs, while VFX tied to gem abilities are cleaned up a bit when switching classes. The experience boost stat is now called experience gain and has a base value of 100 instead of 0. This is for the new double experience potions, so it has a value to double. There's also been a whole bunch of new Streamer Dream allies that have been added to the game. Streamer Dream boxes, which I regularly give away in my videos, will end up unlocking a bunch of different allies, wings, and stuff like that. Now they've actually added a whole bunch of new streamer allies for a bunch of other streamers. Also, the Daughter of the Moon geysers that end up showing up will now clean up after 24 seconds, rather than staying around for the entirety of the fight and just making it almost impossible to fight her if you ended up dragging it out too long, right? Loot collecting rare epic and relic and resplendent rings now rewards appropriate amounts of flux based on the rarity. Number of charges now stays constant when using an ultimate ability with the Vial of Unleashed Power. The Pinata Dragon no longer requires a party animal pinata to craft, which is a welcome change because technically speaking that made him 100% pay to win. And also changing auras on stellar gear will now cause it to be non-tradable, because technically you could have a stellar hat and you could change the aura and then you could still trade it. It was a bug that was around for a long time. Most of all, it affected people that would want to have the Sun Moon aura, and then you could trade it to them, right? Oh boy, now we're on to the bug section, and this is gigantic. So they fixed a bug where the air dragon wouldn't provide the movement speed buff to other flying players nearby. A lot of these are kind of pointless too, because it says, like this one for example, fixes the missing category for Jurassic Jungle under collections, crafting, biome recipes. That is absolutely irrelevant on consoles because console players only just got the category, so it's kind of strange that they have some of this stuff. For the most part though, lots of it is just bug related, you know, related to disconnects and stuff like that. So I'm kind of just skipping through a lot of it. Kicking from Club World should work correctly again. Okay. I guess we weren't able to actually kick people properly, but that's okay. For the most part, the club's actually been really, really cool. Stellar Aura VFX now disappear when you die instead of floating around your tombstone. Improve portal interaction when there is loot nearby. Now, the reason that I'm pointing this one out is because of the whole proximity thing, where now we actually interact with stuff that's nearby. In most cases, you'll be trying to pick up gear, and then you accidentally end up going through the exit portal. Now, they fixed that up quite a bit, but you still are going to end up having issues going through the portal sometimes. For the most part, it's actually designed for when you're avoiding gear though, and you just want to go through the portal without actually grabbing it. Fix the gunslinger's charge shot ability not applying decreased descent, because the character itself, when you tag enemies, ends up falling very slowly, right? And for the most part, I think that's it, everybody. There could be a couple other big bugs that I'm missing out of this, but for the most part, you can just read through it all yourselves because it is a huge wall of text, like seriously, especially for the bugs section. It's just absolutely insane. Now, I'm gonna see what I can do about this video, but as far as my recording time is concerned, I'm over an hour now, so this video might actually end up coming out a day later than I intended, and I'm sorry about that, but obviously, it's just because we had a lot of ground to cover, and it's awesome that I can do these patch notes video for you guys and gals again, but this is absolutely insane. Now, because of this, you might see a skip in the Trove Let's Play series, just because I got my hands full with a lot of this stuff, not to mention the tutorials that I do have to make after this video whenever I have the time, right? But in any case, thank you so much for watching, everybody. Very much appreciate it. Go on out there and farm the Dino Attack event and do all the other crazy stuff. It's absolutely awesome. Chaos crafting table should be here in the club world. Let me take a peek over here in Jub, right? Where's our chaos crafting table? Why has it not been crafted? No, seriously, what's going on? Well, it's got to be somewhere around here, and if not, I'm gonna put one down. But in any case, thanks for watching, everybody. Very much appreciate it. Don't forget to like, share, favorite, and subscribe for more daily content. Sayonara, and stay epic, everybody.